This practice focuses on the iliopsoas muscle. By releasing this area, we have so much more flexibility in the hips and the legs. We can go a little bit deeper in our back bends. Let's begin. We'll start by doing some low lunges. I like having blocks for these lunges. So grab your blocks. If you don't have blocks, no worries. You can still do these. Step your right foot right between the blocks and drop in. You'll feel a nice stretch to the top of the thigh. Just hinge back so that you can just kind of easily draw yourself into this practice. Drop in again and come back. And one more time, drop in and hinge back. And notice the difference here. As you come to a kneeling position, just notice the difference, how one side might feel just a little bit more open and flexible. Let's come to the opposite side. So as you step your left foot forward, drop in. With the support of your blocks, you get this nice elongation from the pelvis all the way to the crown of the head. You feel this nice lengthening. And come back and again, settle into your pose and hinge back. One more time. Draw in and come back. And come to a kneeling position again. Just notice as you come to a kneeling position, that area at the top of the thigh, right at the pant leg crease, you might feel a little bit more opening. And as you draw the pelvis back and forward, just to once again, just notice this nice flexibility that you can get here. This also helps to create a little bit more freedom in the lumbar spine, in your low back area. Just forward and back, and forward and back. Now let's do that in a standing position. So as you come to the front of your mat, stand tall. Inhale, take your arms up. So now we're in the standing back bend. So you're able to really get this nice fullness, this nice length in the front body. Exhale with bent knees. Place your hands right alongside your feet and step your right leg back. Take your hands right to the top of the thigh and inhale. Reach your arms up. Exhale, take your hands down, step your back foot forward, place both hands to your low back and rise up. Inhale, take your arms up, reach them up and back. Exhale, bend your knees and take your hands by your feet to take your left leg back. Inhale, reach your arms up and slightly back. Exhale, take your hands down to the mat and step your back foot forward. Place both hands to the low back and rise up. So both the low lunges and the high lunges, and now Virabhadrasana 1. really enable you to open up at the beginning of the practice, open up this area for back bends. Let's continue this practice to open up the front of the hips by stepping to the front of the mat. Inhale, reach up and slightly back in the standing back bend. Exhale, step your right leg back and park your back heel down to come to Virabhadrasana 1. Release your hands down. Let's step to a plank position. And from plank position, lower yourself down. Inhale, baby cobra. Lift yourself up. Reach your heart forward. Exhale and soften. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, soften. Come back to downward facing dog. And in the same way we've been doing, to open up that area right at the pant leg crease, lift your right leg up, lift it high, bend your right knee to get this nice opening of the front side of the thigh. Release your foot down. Look forward. Step your right foot right between your hands. Step your left foot forward. Place both hands to the low back and rise up. Once again, come to Virabhadrasana number 1. Reach your left foot back. Root down through the back foot as you lift your arms up and have your hands nice and wide apart and your fingers spread so you can engage your arms so fully. Exhale, release your hands. Come to a plank position. Lower yourself down. Inhale, draw your heart forward. And exhale, soften. Inhale, lift yourself up. Exhale, soften. One more cycle. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, soften. Come through all fours position to make your way to downward facing dog, where you'll lift your left leg up, reach it high. Bend your left knee once again, just opening up that area that we're focusing on in the practice as you just get this nice fullness. So step your left foot forward, step your right foot forward, place both hands to the low back and rise up. Inhale, reach up and back. Exhale, come to the earth with your knees bent. Inhale. Let your hands just kind of slide up your legs to support your spine as you rise up. Exhale, soften down. 2 more cycles. Inhale, rise up. Exhale and soften. One more. Inhale, rise up. And exhale, soften. With your hands right alongside your ankles, come to a plank position and lower yourself all the way to the mat. Bend your right knee. See if you can find your right foot. So can you grab hold of your right foot? So if the right foot is too hard to grab, don't worry about it. Just bend the knee. And as you pull the right foot in toward the pelvis, have your heart reach forward. So it's an easy stretch. You don't want to go too far here. Release your foot down and bend your opposite leg. So hold on to the left foot and get this nice stretch there. Spread your toes so the toes are nicely engaged. And release. Now, some people have a hard time finding their back foot. So let's lie on our back. And that will give you just a little bit easier access. As you lie on your back, bend your right knee and find your right foot or your right shin, and then roll yourself over. So you're holding onto your right foot, you'll roll over, holding onto your right foot, and inhale with your left arm forward, lift yourself up, exhale, soften. We'll do this 2 more times. Inhale, lift up, exhale, and soften. And 1 more time. Inhale, lift up, and exhale, soften. Roll to your back again. And when you're lying on your back, bend your left knee. Just hug the left leg in. Grab hold of your shin and roll yourself over. So as you roll over to your belly, you're still holding onto your foot. Inhale, lift yourself up. Exhale and soften. 2 more. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, soften. 1 more time. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, soften. Now come to a kneeling position. So as you come to your knees, just pause here with your toes tucked under, with your knees hip distance apart. Reach back, reach your right hand back to your back heel. Lift your left arm up and reach it up and over so that you get this nice fullness. So we're in a very similar pose that we were in before, just opening the chest nicely, not on our belly now, just opening up and release. Now take your left hand to your heel, take your right arm up, reach back, a nice back bend, and come out of the pose. Come to all fours position. And in all fours position, lift yourself up to downward facing dog. And enjoy a nice lengthening downward facing dog here. We'll continue all this work to stretch the front side of the body by taking the right leg in the air, lift it high, bend your right knee. You get a lot of length all the way from your heart to your knee. You feel this nice length. Release your right leg down. Take your left leg up. Lift it high. Bend your knee. Just open up nicely. And release your foot down. Lower yourself through a plank position all the way to the floor. Once you're on the floor, reach your fingers out, your hands out to the side with the palms facing down, with your fingertips pressing nicely. Inhale, slide your hands in as you lift your heart up. Exhale and soften, reach your hands out. Inhale, as you lift up, your hands come in toward your heart. Exhale, soften. So the arms give you lots of support. Inhale, lift up, but see if you can use your back muscles more. And exhale, soften yourself down. And come up to all fours position to make your way to downward facing dog again. And look forward and walk, step, or hop your way to the front of the mat. Place your hands to your low back and rise up. Let's come to a standing position and balance. So you can step off your mat if that makes you feel just a little bit more balanced in these actions. have most of your weight on your left leg and grab hold of your right leg. So just pause here. Just like we were doing on our belly, get hold of the shin or the top of the foot and give yourself another thigh stretch here. Just pause. We'll go to the same form that we were when we were on our belly. So reach your left arm up and get this nice length here. Reach your right foot back. So all these preparations that we do for back bends, we have to get the psoas muscle to just release a little bit. And just by coming to this form where we're stretching the front side of the right leg, the front side of the body, that just allows these connective tissues to soften, to hydrate. You can release your hand down, release your foot down. Just pause in Tadasana with your feet hip distance apart. Get a nice rooted quality to your right leg as you take your weight off your left foot and lift your foot up. Just hold on for a moment so you find stability in your standing leg first. And now we'll work on the length from the pelvis all the way to the knee as you hold on to your foot. And if you'd like to be near a wall or a chair or something to find that stability, by all means, do that. And as you're ready, just come to the form of this pose that we call Natarajasana. And mostly today, we're just getting this nice work to the length from the pelvis to the knee to prepare for deeper back bends. Just open up really nicely. And as you're ready, you can slowly release your hand and release your foot. Come to the front of your mat again. And just notice as you come to a standing back bend by reaching your arms up and back, how much more space you have in the front side of the body. Exhale, bend your knees to place your hands alongside your ankles. Step your right leg back and take your right knee down. In this low lunge, just sink deeply into the lunge. Take your hands right to the top of the knee. Drop your pelvis low. Inhale, take your arms up. Anjaneyasana. Reach your hands up and back to settle deeply into the pose. Exhale, release your hands. Step your back foot forward. Place your hands to your low back and rise up. Reach up and reach way back with the hands wide apart. Exhale with slightly bent knees. Release your hands to alongside your ankles to take your left leg back. Your back knee down, your toes down. Take your hands right above your knee and settle in. Just get this nice fullness. Today, we continue to work on this length here, this openness in the pelvic area. Settle deeply in before reaching your arms up. Keep your hands nice and wide apart. Lift your chest, lift your gaze, reach back. Exhale, release your hands down. Step your back foot forward. Place your hands to the low back and rise up. And just pause here again. And as you pause, just kind of notice that fullness on the front side of the body. One more time, reach your arms up and back in a standing back bend. Exhale, lower yourself down. Come to a plank position. And release yourself all the way to the mat. Now, on your mat, roll over to your back. And as you roll over to your back, bend your knees. We've been doing all these back bending actions, standing back bends, lunges, Virabhadrasana 1. Now, as you lie on your back with your feet planted, have your elbows pressing down and inhale, lift your pelvis up and come to this modified bridge pose here with your feet drawing down and hugging in toward your heart. Lift your pelvis higher and open the chest really nicely. And very slowly take your pelvis down. For some of us, we'll be doing a full back bend, a full wheel, Urdhva Dhanurasana. So if you are up for that, let's do that. Otherwise, just come to the same pose we were in. With your feet hip distance apart, take your hands over your head and place your hands very firmly down. And for some of us, it's going to be rather challenging to lift the pelvis with the arms up over your head. But see if you can just lift the pelvis as stage 1 of the wheel, Urdhva Dhanurasana. For stage 2, see if you can lift your chest to get your head on the mat. Stage 2, draw your elbows in and inhale, lift yourself up to full Urdhva Dhanurasana. Get this nice fullness to the chest, and nice strength to the legs. All the prep we did in the front body just allows a nice opening at the pant leg area. And slowly take yourself down and lower all the way. Just pause here. Breathe in deep and breathe out long. With your feet as wide apart as your mat is, draw your knees over to the right and just let them settle down toward the earth as you take your left arm over your head. You get this nice length. You can choose to take your right ankle to the outer left knee if that works for you. You're still working to get as much length, especially on the left leg from the pelvic area that we've been working on all the way to the knee. Place your foot back to the mat and draw your knees to the opposite side in this twisting action. Take your left foot to the outer right knee. Reach your arm up over your head. And with the right arm over your head, you feel a nice length to the right side. And come out of the twist. Place your feet down and stretch your legs out. See if you can just soften your breath. We've been doing a lot to stretch the front side of the body, especially all the way from the knee to the heart. Now let's stretch the sides of the body by taking the arms up over your head. And as you reach all the way from the fingertips to the feet, walk your hands over to the right side. Walk your feet over to the right side and pause there. You're kind of creating this C shape, the letter C, as you just breathe in and out through the nose. See if you can maybe walk your hands in your feet just a little bit further to the side. Walk your feet the opposite way. Walk your hands the opposite way and stretch the side body on the right side. Pause there. Walk your feet just a little bit more in your hands, just a little bit more deeply in the side stretch. And come back to take your feet to the center of the movement. Have your arms release with your palms facing up. Just settle in. Notice how expansive the front side of the body feels, how expansive the sides feel, how easy it is for you to freely move the breath. You breathe in deep and you breathe out long. You soften the outer body and let the breath create this inner brightness. Let the exhale breath just kind of help you just wash away any contractedness. And the in breath, invite in this fullness, this inner glow. The in breath calls for receptivity. The out breath just kind of lets this contractedness go. Take 3 more very focused in breaths. See how much you can just fill the front body through the breath. And a long out breath. As if you're calibrating your breath, notice on the in breath as you widen your ribs and you feel the skin and the clothing move against the mat. See if you can expand even more fully. And a long out breath. And have this third cycle where you're taking your attention to the breath. Be a full and natural cycle of your breath, just moving very freely. Bend your knees to place your feet. with the legs engaged. Take your arms up over your head and enjoy this nice fullness. Draw over to the side and pause there. And as you're ready, lift yourself up to come to a seated pose. Just pause in your seated pose and sit very tall. Place your hands in front of your heart to this fullness that yoga shows us just through our own physical body so that we can take that fullness into our day. We bow. Namaste.